Did we really need another explanation that is given to us as fact about Super Saiyan? Really? If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically there was a new translation released, and it talked about Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God in particular. The Super Saiyan God explanation, that little bit of lore building, I'm not going to get into it, so if you want to hear about the Super Saiyan God explanation, go to another channel, because all I'll be bitching about today is the Super Saiyan explanation, and basically what are S-cells. S-cells, they are basically midichlorians from the Star Wars prequels. But anyway, let's get into this here. I'm just going to read what the translation fully says, and then I will dive into my thoughts. Okay, so, can anyone become a Super Saiyan if they train? It's not like, and then the reply is, it's not like anyone can become a Super Saiyan through training and anger. In order to become a Super Saiyan, one's body must contain something called S-cells. Once these S-cells reach a certain amount, a trigger such as anger will explosively increase the S-cells and cause a change in the body, and that's Super Saiyan. Most Saiyans have some S-cells, although not a great quantity. The reason why Goku and Vegeta's children can become Super Saiyan relatively easily is probably to a certain extent they inherited a lot of S-cells, and also because Earth's environment is gentler and easier to live in than planet Vegeta. And then it goes on to read, and how does one increase S-cells to become Super Saiyan? Having a gentle spirit is the best way to greatly increase one's S-cells, but most Saiyans have trouble with this, which I think is why no Super Saiyans appeared for such a long time and they have become stuff of legend. However, one can't reach the quantity necessary for becoming Super Saiyan simply by having a gentle spirit, so a certain amount of battle power is indeed necessary. Looked at in this light, it's easy to see why becoming a Super Saiyan came easy for Goku, Son Goku, whatever you want to call him. I don't like this explanation. I really don't. And it's due to a couple of factors. One, I'm not very big into the scientific factors and basically the scientific explanations in Dragon Ball and basically like fiction anyway. You know, it's not my favorite thing. It's also like Star Wars. I'd rather the Force be just a thing that is sort of a magical and mythical thing. Same with the Super Saiyan transformation, to be honest. I'm even fine with the martial arts tingly back explanation for Super Saiyan because it actually has roots in real martial arts, practices. This, however, I'd be fine with if it's not to be taken as fact. It's coming from an outsider source, which means it's going to be legitimate. Especially if it's in Dragon Ball Super, if there's going to be an episode with them explaining S-cells, and I bet you they're going to just explain that as fact. It's not going to be, oh, well I have this theory, and it's basically, the more scientific theory, and then another character has a theory, and it's basically the, more of the mythical side. To bring it back to Star Wars, I guess, just as an example, if Qui-Gon Jinn had the midichlorians scientific explanation and Yoda and Obi-Wan have the mythical explanation, that's fine. A lot of legends and a lot of things have different interpretations around it, even like different forms of fiction, like even different types of fiction and writing and, stories have different interpretations and people interpret stuff differently. So if Qui-Gon Jinn or some like Saiyan, to bring it back to Dragon Ball, the main focus of this video, believes in the scientific explanation, that's fine. And then there's a mythical side of things, and in Dragon Ball's case there's a martial arts side of things. That's cool. I like that. It sort of makes this, interesting factor that comes into play when talking about Super Saiyan. I like that. That's cool. The problem with this is that it sounds like it's supposed to be taken as fact. It's not a theory. It's not a way of looking at things. It's basically them saying, this is how Super Saiyan is, deal with it. It just eliminates all possibility of discussion after that. You know, this is how it works, that's it. There's no other interpretations. I mean, there's a tingly back thing. You know, there's not much to discuss. It's just sort of very, not very open-ended, and it's just that's it. That's the be-all and end-all discussion, you know? To wrap up here, I think if this SL's explanation finds its way into Dragon Ball Super, please make it an interpretation and not, oh, this is fact now, because that wouldn't work, I don't think. Let there be multiple interpretations of the Super Saiyan transformation, and I'm talking about in-universe, not out-of-universe. I'm talking about in-universe. Let there be different interpretations of Super Saiyan. Hopefully you liked my Star Wars analogy, you know, with the Force. I don't mind different interpretations, but if somebody says, this is fact, you know, it doesn't really work, and it kinda just negates the possibility of further discussion. So anyway guys, please rate, comment and subscribe. Also let me know what you guys think of S-cells and this sort of new scientific explanation for Super Saiyan. Again, I don't hate it, I just don't like the fact that it's set in stone and that's it. Maybe, you know, Toriyama will change his mind in like 10 years, who knows. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. See you next time.